Alright, so we are on like tight time limits, so let us begin immediately. So we ended last session while fighting with Wolfpack, an elite high sky, high threat response team that was sent here due to finding out that Ivo, or rather hearing information that one of the fugitives, Ivo, was seen around these parts, and lo and behold, they did found him. As he and Wedge were leading an assault onto Governor's Spire, specifically the like foundation portions right next to the military base. And while the fighting is raging all around at the surface level, they are currently engaged in a merciless, brutal combat in the underground portion. And two things will happen. One, I forgot that even though both of your characters will realize that the two enemies that were firing from something looking like heavy machine gun, um, actually they didn't seem to have to reload, like they are using kinetic weapon. However, even though this is automatic Matter Forge, they should have to roll a skill check to see if they can continue firing and preventing uh, NPC allies like Mook's cannon fodder from joining the fray and giving the enemies more targets to well, fire upon, instead of just focusing fire on the player characters. And yes, I remember that Ivo was just supposed to engage Kruger in melee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and for the first turn, let's see if the Wolfpack Elite guys can continue firing from automatic Matter Forge. They were firing for quite some time. Okay, one of them can still do that. However, one of them definitely has to reload. So that means what is the I guess I can use this icon. So that means at the start of which turn I can roll to see if there are any more helpers, because they might not get immediately shot down. Two, I guess, okay. And also, I figured out that I might borrow one thing from Warhammer games to give a little change, like to give like a turning point, as in provide an event that changes the battlefield or introduces like one more thing. I've gotten an idea that I will make just a flat roll with no modifiers, and depending on the result, either something will happen one way or the other, uh, but depending on the result, we'll see who has to roll or what. Because as you are fighting in the underground, as in like in the maze of tunnels, sewer corridors, like abandoned service tunnels, and maybe like mostly you try to keep the combat in that general area where there is a lot of cover and whatnot. Fighting rages on above, and either through conscious action or through a mistake, a fire will lit up at the ammo depot.
Hmm.
And now let's see. Okay. It's a I'll make that roll for every like NPC. However, Wedge and Ivo, you can make. It really depends. You can make your best saving throw, and you can add +3 to that result. Because what will happen is that there will be suddenly a massive tremor. The walls, the ceiling will shake, shaking off like dust. Like portions of the floor will, portions of the ceiling will fall down, as there will be. Which is that with the +3? No, I
Uh,
don't. I don't think it's not. So
it's
okay,
not.
so with +3 that's 10, so that's equal, so that's good. Uh, uh, as there will be a massive explosion ripping through the air, which because for whatever reason, either you don't see that, but by instinct you get a feeling that you think that a multiple just went up. You cannot be sure if this is like was intended action or simply in a firefight. You know, a stray bullet, a stray energy bolt, or a straight rocket launcher just went through the armory's wall and, well, caused a massive amount of destruction. And that massive tremor and explosion causes like ruptures going through the ground. And if there are any like pipes and whatnot, there can be essentially I will have to like roll for the enemies and allies like NPCs to see if maybe they do not get damaged or hurt or killed by like a piece of falling debris or rupturing pipe that just erupts with fire and explosion that takes them out. However, I'm gonna also roll for Kruger, but because he's engaged in melee with Ivo, like fluff wise the effect has to be somewhat different because Ivo passed his save, so he should not be damaged by that. Okay, Kruger has to roll, and actually I'm gonna start with allies, and I'm gonna say they also get plus. Uh, they're gonna get +1 bonus. Okay, one of them is like nope. And the other one, okay, the other one passes. However, the other one, new hierarchy. Okay, I'm gonna say the damage from that is based on like Doom Pool. A Doom Pool will start at 3d6. And I still think that's enough to like kill one of those guys. 2, 4, 2. Yep. Other kill. Injure them enough that as they are like rolling onto the field, they suddenly get blasted. However, the other one passes, so they are fine. Now, as for the enemies, they do not get bonus. I might even give them like -1. With the exception of Kruger, because he has Iron Body. So in his case, that would be +2. And he still fails.
Plot twist: Kruger is a robot.
Nah.
Or a Terminator.
I mean, he has focused Iron Body, but
That could just be some really ripped muscles. Or cyborg.
okay, so that's one. Okay, so he takes not much, but it's still something. Okay, and the rest of them, they do not get modifiers like that. Rather, they roll with -1. So that's for the psionic. And he passes still. That's for the guys with heavy machine guns, not. One of them passes. One of them fails. Nice. 1, 2, 3. So he gets damaged, but not killed. And the other Wolfpack elite, the one with the marksman. All right. Okay, that's 1, 1, 1. Yeah, because that's 6. Okay, and now for the elites. Elites, not elites. Alright, I'm gonna say because they were mostly moving as a unit and they all took the same action last turn as they were seeking advantageous position. And there are 7 of them remaining, so I'm gonna... So this will affect 4 of them. Okay, that's 2. So one of them gets fucking killed. As there's like a rupture of one of the like steam or gas pipes going through, and volatile substance ignites, and one of the sections of the corridors just erupts in flames, and his body turns into charcoal. The other 3 get burned, heavily damaged, but they are still alive. And for the 3 of those, okay, so that's 3. Okay, and the other ones, I'd say technically they would be like bleeding out because they get dropped exactly to 0, but I'm gonna say they are mooks, so they die. So you can imagine that in this like combat field that you are in this combat area, there's suddenly a lot more smoke, a lot more flame. Several corridors have pieces of debris. They are like partially or partly collapsed. However, like you can still move around, and I will even say there are like sections when there's like such large gaping holes in the like ceiling that you could technically go up and probably onto the... You could find like more easily ways to go into the surface to like move the battle in other direction. Okay, so that just happened, and Wedge, this is now your turn.
Great. Let's see. So what I'm gonna do is stay in cover. Shoot one of. This is the sniper, correct?
No, sniper is this one.
Alright. Then I'm gonna shoot the sniper with my laser rifle burst.
Okay, sniper does have full cover, so that will be -4 to hit.
Nope.
Yeah, sadly that's yeah, adding -4, yeah, that will be like a complete miss. But you do have Frey die that you can use. You cannot use it on Sniper because he has more hit die than you.
Alright, then I use it on this mook.
Sure, go ahead. I believe your Frey die is
D6.
D6. Okay, and that's enough to kill him. He had 1 HP remaining.
Huzzah! Less snipers.
And no, that was the
No?
mook.
Oh,
Sally's wedge missed the sniper. That had
Okay.
like a solid cover position. And I'm gonna say this turning point didn't change that fact, because on the other hand, it actually made finding cover easier because there's now like much more
Debris.
Debris and much more shit falling down. Okay, and Wedge, you said it like you keep finding cover, so for move action you can make a DC 6 because, as I said, it makes easier. So DC 6 check to like see if you can like fight
Notice check.
full cover. Okay, yeah, you remain in full. Rather, you can adjust your position and still end up with full cover. Alright, and that was your move action, main action. Okay. And as I remembered, I will have to like make for the next one of the things you should remember like adding in homebrew mechanics is the like the burst fire, because in vanilla game when you burst fire, that's supposed to you get more bonuses, but that's expense ammunition. But here, because we don't track that directly, I will like have to make an option that if you fire with burst, like every 2 times or every 3 times you fire with burst fire, you have to reload weapon after that. But we'll see. But I'm not gonna implement that right now. It's just for the future. Okay, Ivo. So all of that shit happened. The area suddenly like there was like a massive explosion. There's all shit going down around you, and you have Captain Kruger. You don't see his face, but you can imagine he's like laughing and smiling like a devil himself that wants to cut you into just enough pieces to keep you alive and take you captive. However, he's using like the stun button on one hand,
Well,
and you are fighting for
I'm
your
going to
life
try
and for
to
your freedom.
I'm going to try to cut him into enough pieces that he isn't alive. And so there's my attack roll.
Alright.
And my Frey die.
Alright, so that's 9, so that's 4? No, sadly that's still 2 points, 1 point. Okay, so that's 3 in total. Alright, very
And
well.
then for my move action, I'll be
Yeah.
defensive to get +2 to my AC against melee attacks to my next turn.
Alright. I think I'm gonna use this icon, I guess. So that gives you, yeah, +2 AC. Alright. Kruger. Is that all you've got? Oh, you have to do much better. Let me show you. And to test out the move, as a nemesis, he has access to all move and main actions. That means he's now initiating a clash. And clash is, I mean, apart from being ripped from Verum, like Arcadum's sessions, like campaigns, it is a risky move that can cause devastating damage one way or the other. It can be like to hit points, or like something mechanically, like maybe disabling some sort of ability and whatnot. Clash, the initiator, the one who starts the clash, decides what's the goal, and at the same time what's the risk to him. So if you were to decide that I want to drop you to 5 hit points, let's say, the same risk applies to him. If he wanted to say that he's disabling something, then yeah, the same risk happens to him, because suddenly this is like a more cinematic fight, as there's like
I get
suddenly
it.
like, yeah, like this is basically like Ora versus Muda, and seeing who is better.
Now, question.
Yep.
It says stab dex, stab strength, punch dex, or punch strength.
Yeah.
I use telekinesis for my weapon. Can I use that instead?
Yeah. I will probably have to like add a sentence that other skills may be viable depending on the situation.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, I was like, when we started this main campaign, I was like, oh right, because he's using psionics and I didn't mention that. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly add that. Psionics. if it makes sense in fiction. Alright, and now what he will actually, what's his objective here? Okay, for now to like he wants to show you like his brutal force. So his objective is to bring you to half of your hit points, as he's unleashing a barrage of attacks, striking you with like ferocity and speed.
Just to clarify, is that current or max?
Half of your max. So
Okay.
that will drop you to
20 in my case.
And in his case, that will drop him to 14. Okay, so this is his check, and he rolls with. I'm just gonna double check if I didn't give him any foci that. Alright. No, okay. Okay, so that's his skill check. Oof.
Oh,
Oof, and he doesn't get a reroll. Alright. Because you won this clash, how does it look like?
so what kind of attack is he performing on me to try to get me to half?
Essentially, like he's like for a war cry, his movements get like quicker, and he like unleashes a barrage of attacks. Like suddenly he has like stun baton in one hand, nano knife in the other, and he like tries to, with like absolutely brutal force, trying to break through your shield, like strike you. Like the knife strikes at your joints, at your like knees, legs, arms, like your limbs, to like trying to like damage you in not like critical area.
I have
While
a good idea.
yeah, while in like the stun button like tries to hit you in like chest area where near the heart, so like the jolt will like make you fall unconscious, like to the head. So there's this like essentially like ora 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 ora, but with like melee weapons.
So I'm basically using invisible but a telekinetic spear. So my idea, he goes in for this attack, and I just like take a half step backwards, and then teleport behind him and just slam the shaft of the shaft of the spear into the back of his neck instead.
All right,
Because I can also do that.
all right. Okay. Yep. Oh, maybe I was wrong, but I'm not done yet. And then he like makes like the backhand backslip, because he's still a nemesis. That was his like main action. He still gets Frey die. Fuck, did I wrote that down? Oh yeah, I wrote that down, that he has 1d8 Frey die. So you get hit by 3. And as for his move action,
That was 3 damage, basically.
yeah. Just this is like inflicted, right?
That's what I thought. I was just making sure.
Yeah. As for the move action, actually, that clash, he is a Blood Knight. He wants to enjoy this fight, but I wouldn't say he's a complete berserker and full, at least not yet, because I gave him berserker foci at level 1. So I'm gonna say as a move action he also takes defensive. and both of you are like these two hunting animals that are eyeing each other and like waiting for the first move. Oh, also I forgot, because at the start of your turn, more helpers might be arriving. And they might not get fucking killed. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, that was Kruger. Sniper. I want to say that one, he seeks cover because the current situation forces him to abandon his spot. Okay, he has no problem maintaining his full cover. However, and yeah, as his main action, he will try to hit Wedge because Wedge was firing at him. Okay, so he rolls with that much, but Wedge is full cover, so that will be only that much. And yeah, because he didn't try to find a better firing position, he can only use sheer rifle. And 12 misses. Okay, so that was uneventful, unhelpful. Okay, elite helpers, because they act before. Actually, no, because that guy was still like doing covering fire. However, there's only one of them, so and they have, due to the situation, they can get a bonus. That's excellent. And even with a penalty, so that would be actually, yeah, not +1. Okay, so as this single guy is like doing this defend approach, half of the roll damage. Okay, so there is a high chance they will survive. Because he uses automatic matter force, so that's 3d6. So that's 1, 2, and half of that is 1. So yeah, let's say.
That's the gun that makes its own bullets, right? You just kind of shove stuff in it, turn stuff into bullets.
I believe so, because I remember I gave you this gun. You found this gun on our first Stellar Heroes campaign.
Yeah. It's like,
Okay.
wait a minute, this sounds familiar.
Okay, so only one of them gets damaged, and like, don't let down our comrades! Rush that fucker before they reload! And all three of them will rush the guy that was trying to defend approach that he still could fire, because the other one will be focused with reloading. Okay, so they roll with +4 to hit. So that's one attack. And that's a hit. Barely, but that's a hit. Actually, not even barely, because these guys were having problems finding good firing position, so they opened this themselves, so they have lower AC even. So that's one hit. That's Sally went forward AC, that's not a hit. And the third attack, Sally, only one attack goes through. But what sort of weapon they could be having, could be using? As these guys came up. That has to be tech level 4, because otherwise they would be pretty useless against the armor these guys use. Against the powered armor. Yeah, so I'm gonna say they managed to find... let's say laser rifles. So that's one hit from the laser rifle. That's only one hit, 1 damage. So he's still alive, but suddenly he has like problem. And the other helpers, yeah, continue to lead out. Okay, mooks, they gonna waste their action on trying to find cover because suddenly they are fucked. The situation is very not good. And they barely succeed. So they have full cover, and that's the only action they can take. Okay, the one that has to reload with automatic matter forge like has to spend like an entire round reloading this shit, or rather not reloading, because how they are used, like he essentially has to like cool down the weapon because it overheated. So he's like spending the entire turn to that. Actually, let me double check how I should with. Until the end of your next turn, yeah. So that would make sense. The other guy, because he was firing, so he also makes a wisdom shoot skill. Okay, he passes, but he gets his defend approach no longer works because the enemies moved through the perimeter and they are now moving through the cover. So he has to. He's like switching weapons, and then he pulls out a distortion cannon, and he will fire at one of the helpers. And yeah, he hits. So that's 6, that's 2 points. Okay, yeah, one of them, I would say the one that was damaged, that hit, he gets freaking annihilated. As, let me double check. Yeah, essentially this weapon uses the same principle as Spike Drive. So the weapon destroys a target by manipulating fabric of space to disrupt a target. So essentially, yeah, just falls into pieces. One of the helpers, and that was their turn. Okay, the one remaining psionic, he will keep try to continue sticking to cover, and he's able to do that. And he's gonna spend his main action as a second move action, and he will make a skill check to see if he can hide and just watch. He will not interfere in the fight, but yeah, he wants to like keep watching it and without being like seen. So he will try to hide himself, and yeah, I would say because of what he has, he won't roll with +3 but only with +2 because he still has training and environment helps him out a little bit. Okay, yes, I'll have to remember that. Actually, as an instant action, both of you can make a notice wisdom skill check to see if the psionic actually can hide from both of you.
Zach.
Okay, which doesn't
so-
see him.
2 questions. First,
Yeah.
I have Metapsionics, and Psionic Refinement gives me +2 to any saving throw versus a psionic power.
He's not using a psionic power.
Oh, it's just to see if he is a psionic.
Sure. He also has cloak
Well-
powers, so that would be. Actually, there will be like 2 checks between two of you because what's your level of metapsionic?
2.
Okay, so on you're on the same level, so yeah, you can make an opposed wisdom metapsionic roll to see if you can like figure out his psionic. And I'd say he has that much, so he rolls with also +3. Yeah, okay. I mean, if I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna like believe like you know that not to metagame. So okay, so that was like
Yes.
to figure out if he's absenic or not, and now you can make a roll to see if you can actually see him like moving, skulking in the shadows. The DC for that would be 10 because he rolled 10 on
Okay.
his sneak.
That one was wisdom.
Correct.
Well, that's also 7. So I also don't see him.
Okay, so he is currently untargetable because he disappears from your field of vision. But that's all he can do. Wedge.
Yep. To
The sniper is still alive, just so you know.
not long.
Yeah. However, he is in behind full cover, so that's -4 to hit. There's one damaged heavy machine gun guy. But yeah, if you want to like focus on sniper, that's fine too. Because
Yeah, I'm
sniper,
gonna focus on the sniper.
because sniper was also damaged. That's correct. That's true. All right. Rolled. I mean,
Alright.
oh,
Alright, so I don't think we managed to discuss what miss action I would take last turn.
right. My mistake. My mistake. Uh, okay. So, what would have been your choice last turn?
Uh, duh, 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 duh. Probably exchanging hit on the first one,
Okay. So, question is how much
and
damage you
simple
rolled?
simple miss
11.
on the second one.
Okay, 11 in total. Ooh. Ooh, that would have been enough to kill him. Yep, because that translates into 4 points. However, even if that kills him, he does get a chance to like exchange blows. So he will make an attack roll. And yeah, with a sheer rifle. Oh, but I forgot. He ignores cover, so. But even then, even without that,
That's why I focused on him.
yeah, even with, I remember I rolled really low, so even if I rolled with full modifier, he still wouldn't have hit that previous attack. But this one he rolls with +8. That's still a miss. And
Oof.
yeah, you managed to kill him. So you would know to use this attack, this current attack, on some other target because the sniper was already dead. So whom you have?
Probably the one in the back.
Yeah, the one heavy machine gunner injured. Okay,
Yeah.
so do you also just miss or do you exchange blows?
Just miss with that one.
All right, and your
Uh,
fray die damage.
All right. 3 damage to that one.
Okay, they have like 1 hit point left, so he also gets fucking dead. Yeah, but I got.
Yep. And Alright, notice check to stay into cover.
Oh, yeah, correct. DC 6. Which I don't think you have a chance of failing. Okay, yeah, you remain in full cover. Alright. Ivo. Furious melee rages on.
Yes, it does. And of course, even with his +2 to AC, I'll go for another swing.
That
And
hits.
probably hit again.
Yeah, he would have 22.
But do nothing with my Fright Eye.
Yep, and 8 I believe translates into 2 points.
And I will also go defensively. As after I've hurt him for a bit, we're both kind of looking for an opening.
Yeah. That's like, yeah, that makes a perfect sense. Okay. You brought him below half of his hit points. That means Berserker activates.
Berserker!
Yes, that's right, Ivo. Feel the joy of battle. Yes, he's essentially like Boros fighting with Saitama at this point. Okay, what icon I should use for Berserker state? Fucking hell. Let's see, that one. Okay. I need to remember that he gets bonuses to stuff. Would he go for another clash? Let me double check what's your state. Oh right, yeah, he has to. Because even assuming he does hit with everything, and he did succeed at his assessment in the previous session, so he knows your capabilities, like translating mechanics to fluff-wise. And currently the difference is that he's attacking with you this, so that's 12 on a maximum roll, that's 20. Yeah. I'm just trying to do math, like what would be not half, but actually, you know what? He's a berserker. He's going for a bank. His clash is that he is trying to bring you just on the brink of consciousness life. So his objective is to bring you to 1 hit point.
Okay.
And like the same applies to him. Okay, so now with I wanna say the difference is that even though his attacks were not exactly finesse based on the previous clash, but they did show like years of military training, that it shows through his movement and way he was attacking that he is trained like soldiers, like Special Forces Commando motherfucker. But this time, this is like just pure warrior's fury. It's like relenting onslaught of without fear, without tiring. And he's like this, like the warriors of old that will stop at nothing to slaughter their enemies. However, he's using stun baton, so or not stun baton, but he's like using all of his like melee weapons. Alright, so that's his clash. That's his skill check. Does he have everything? That is a skill check, so Berserker doesn't give him +1. Okay. Wow. Okay, give me a moment, because I did wrote somewhere how we treat ties.
I want to hear that, but I do have a possibility that I can reroll. I want to hear what happens first, though, if that's okay. Like, I want to hear what happens on a tie first, not the effect of the tie.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Not what will happen in the game, but what happens on a tie.
Yeah. Oh, okay, of course, I forgot about including the nemesis, because I wrote down what happens in normally, what happens if there are tiers in play. Okay, so I will have to remember to add for the future game that if there is a nemesis, if there is like a higher level nemesis, the tie is resolved in his case. However, we don't have that now, so I'm gonna say we're gonna use the rule that by default that a tie between PC and NPC favors the PC.
Okay.
Okay, so he gets brought down to 1 hit point.
So I just imagine while he's basically do all of this, I switch the grip of my telekinetic spear from one hand to the other. And so, like, where he's expecting it to be, it's actually mirrored. And I just take that, and he just almost runs onto it through his chest as I just try to brace and hold it.
Alright.
Not quite enough to kill him, but enough to bring him down to 1.
Yeah. Okay, however, I do not believe your weapons can do non-lethal damage, or can they?
No, they, I mean...
Rather, it depends what makes sense in fiction.
Like, if I were to make a telekinetic, like, club, I could probably beat someone non-lethally.
Yeah, true.
But...
However, sounding from the story, I mean, just for the description purposes, I imagine he can bleed from several spots, and his armor is dented or pierced through because the spear.
I am specifically not using non-lethal though.
Yeah. Okay. However, he still gets his fray die.
Bring it on. Oof.
And brought on he did. Okay, both. Okay, that and yeah.
That is somewhat fitting though.
Actually, would he still go for defensive stance? I mean, sure, because the Foca is called Berserker, but it's not exactly the same thing.
Maybe make an offensive stance. -2 AC for +2 to your next attack roll. Just the reverse of defensive, kinda.
Perhaps.
We'll see.
Okay, so that would be actually 19.